Bradley, Shenpai, smile for the camera. We have 70,000 people that want to see your pretty faces.
Tyrodin spoke in his Reinhardt impression while holding the camera up to Brad and Shen's faces, both of whom looked unimpressed to be joined on what was supposed to be a date.
I honest to God had no idea they were coming.
Brad said sympathetically, trying to lift Shenpai's spirits. Sure you didn't. This is an awesome meetup, by the way, Shen said more angrily than sad, beginning once again to drag her feet and hang her head in disappointment. A light bulb flickered about Brad's head as a devious idea popped into his mind.
I was really hoping we were alone. Milady.
Brad finally fulfilled his goal of whispering a "Milady" directly into Shen's ear, the fake deep voice managing to increase Shen's goosebumps 10 times what they'd normally be over the microphone. I hate it when you do that. Shen looked away to hide her already tomato-red face and fangirlish
smirk from Brad.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't call you Milady. I'd rather call you Vera.
Brad said Shen's real name, his lips brushing against Shen's ear. A light moan came from Shen at the subtle yet powerful contact with Brad, her face now revealed to him, her face mimicking the color which rivaled that of the darkest crimson known to man. Shen had to momentarily stop and close her eyes, biting her lip to avoid a love-struck smirk overcoming her face.
Shen? You okay?
Brad was now chuckling slightly at Shen's weakened form, but Shenpai would be damned if she would be beaten by Brad. Her lips still bit. Shen gently opened her eyes and stared directly at Brad for only a moment, a light pink blush overcoming Brad's face as Shen slowly stood back up and slowly approached Brad with an uncharacteristically large sway to her hips. More confused than intimidated, Brad did the usual thing he did and stood there and stared at the oncoming storm. Shenpai finally released her lip from her teeth and leaned her head against Brad's shoulder, being sure to get as close to his ear as possible. Remember, Brad, behind every man, Shenpai let out a small giggle, playfully smacking Brad's behind, is an even greater woman. Shen finished her teasing, letting her lips graze gently over Brad's cheek, and the very corner of his lips, backing away and catching up with BAZZAAAAAA, Muselk, and Tyrodin, leaving a very shocked-looking Brad.
Friends, good news!
Tyrodin returned to his Reinhardt voice and flashed the Twitch screen in front of Brad and Shen.
We've reached 100,000 viewers on Twitch.
Muselk happily interrupted Tyrodin, taking the phone and playing Keep Away with Bazza. Huh, I wonder how that happened. Shen looked over to Brad, his face now taking on the same shade that Shenpai's once was. Despite his beating heart and flustered expression, Brad wasn't about down and out for the count just yet.
I won't be going down that easily.
Brad began, placing a gentle kiss onto Shen's temple.
Milady.
Chapter 4. A very milady walk up.
That was wonderful, my friends. Now on to the next location. More fun awaits us.
Tyrodin cycled between his Reinhardt voice and his now drunk normal voice, exclaiming with absolute ignorance and happiness, an obvious side effect of being shit-faced drunk.
You know, as much as I love spending this quality time with you guys, the whole wait while we go here into a bar thing is getting pretty fucking aggravating for me and Shen.
Brad said blandly, a small hint of annoyance being evident in his voice.
What are you talking about?
Muselk turned around to face Brad and Shenpai, unknowingly crossing his legs and tripping over his own
Feet.
Well, the fun's just beginning. There are still 29 pubs in this part of town alone.
Bazza followed Muselk's example and tripped over thin air, crashing onto the sidewalk with a sharp thud. Tyrodin let out a deep laugh as he picked up Muselk and Bazza, the three beginning to show their true drunkenness.
Come, friends, let us sing a shanty to pass time between taverns.
Tyrodin yelled out loud, as he could in his drunkest Reinhardt voice, successfully catching the attention of almost everyone on the street.
Left foot, right foot.
Right foot.
Left foot.
Right
Right foot.
foot.
Tyrodin, Bazza, and Muselk all walked semi in sync, letting their
Definitely
feet hit
semi.
the ground as they continued to sing the old song, like a bunch of drunken fools, successfully making asses of themselves yet again.
Wanna ditch him?
Brad looked towards Shen, then back to their friends, who just entered their 9th pub within the hour. I'd love you, Shen said gladly, unaware of the accent she just said. Two! I said I'd love two! Shen once again had to look away from Brad as a crimson red overtook her face. Letting a devious smirk overcome his face, Brad got close to her ear once again, Shen being too distracted on hiding her face to see the real threat quickly approaching her personal space.
Of course you meant to say that, lady.
Brad let his McCree side show in all of its charming glory, Shenpai being a full victim to the vicious assault of the dark-voiced milady onslaught. Stop doing that, Brad! Shen had to stop herself from yelling in embarrassment as she went to playfully punch Brad in the shoulder, not knowing that she had just sprung Brad's trap. Instead of hitting Brad's shoulder or side, her hand found itself blocked, caught, and trapped within Brad's hand. Speechless, and with a face that mimicked that of a tomato, Shen looked away and crossed her free arm across her chest, unclenching her hand from a fist to a flat hand. Taking the hint, Brad intertwined his fingers with Shen's, giving her hand a light squeeze before raising to his face, giving her hand a soft kiss, thoroughly enjoying the flustered emotions Shen was giving off. Not separating from their awkward yet comfortable hold on each other's hands, Zylbrad remembered something extremely important.
No, Bradley. You and young Shenpai may not leave.
Tyrodin spoke in his disappointed Reinhardt voice as he snatched Brad's car keys, putting them in his back pocket and wagging his finger in a tsk motion. Despite a quick game of keep away between BAZZAAAAAA, Muselk, and Tyrodin versing Brad was unable to get his keys back, accepting the fact that Tyrodin would just drive them back eventually. That's when Brad realized that Tyrodin was either a fool or a liar, as he knew full and well that Tyrodin was a bad enough drinker as it was, disregarding the intoxication.
Tyrodin has my keys.
Brad said bluntly, a twitch forming in his eye as he thought of what drunk Tyrodin would be doing with his keys. How far away do you live? Shen asked, more focused on keeping the contact with Brad than she was about getting a pair of keys.
2 blocks away, maybe.
Brad said shyly, completely forgetting how long it would take to walk from the airport to his house. I think I can walk that, Shen said, releasing her hand from Brad's. On one condition, though, Shen said, her confidence building slowly but surely.
What's that?
Brad asked, scared that he may have scared off Shen. Shenpai quickly ducked under Brad's arm and came up against his side, Brad's arm laying peacefully on Shen's shoulders and neck, his face turning a deep crimson at the sudden contact. We have to walk the entire way there like this, Shen said sweetly, resting her head against Brad's shoulder and lower chin. The triggering trolling side of Zylbrad, was practically commanding him to say something stupid like,
If I say no, what will you do, milady?
But looking down to the absolutely adorable bunch of everything he loved mashed into one ball of awesomeness, Brad had to give her what she wanted.
You got it, milady.
Chapter 5, Housewarming Gift. So this is your room, huh? Shenpai's eyes scanned the of Zylbrad's apartment, noticing the numerous amount of Overwatch posters adorning almost every square inch, every single poster having at least one mention of Bastion.
Yep. Pretty cool, right?
Zylbrad put his hands on his hips and stuck his chin up, proud in his almost childlike room. Seeing Shenpai cock an eyebrow as she continued to scan his room, Brad's prideful smirk turning into a concerned grimace.
Sorry if you don't like it. I was thinking of remodeling anyway.
Brad was interrupted as Shen placed a loving hand on his shoulder. Don't worry, Brad. I love it. I'm an Overwatch fan too, remember? She said sympathetically, giving Brad a heartfelt smile that nearly made his heart melt.
Why am I losing my cool? Why are we stuttering again? The fuck am I blushing? Alright, Brad. Calm it down. It'll be okay. Keep it cool. We have to show her we're cool. Wait, she's smiling. Why the fuck is she so cute all the time?
His profanity-filled thoughts kept flooding Brad's head as Shenpai began unknowingly tugging on his heartstrings.
Alright.
Brad could feel his face heating up to an unholy shade of red as Shenpai's hand...
So, anyway, it's getting pretty late out. I guess you probably want to take a shower, right?
Brad's face was still the color of a sunburnt tomato and getting even darker, much to Shen's enjoyment. That'd be good, Shen said sweetly, walking off and heading to the other room in the small apartment. Brad let out a sigh of relief as he saw Shen turn the corner and retreat into the bathroom.
Brady-chan,
Shen spoke in her hentai voice, instantly catching Brad's attention and making his face turn a dark crimson.
don't you want to take a shower with me? I might need some help. I'm so dirty.
Shen puffed her lips out and gave him those damn puppy eyes. Luckily for Brad, he had covered his face with his hat long ago, effectively blocking his now smoking face from Shen.
Sorry, Shen. I gotta.
Brad had quite literally no excuses as to why he shouldn't Shen. That's when Brad was both cockblocked and rescued at the same time. Brad's phone went off, beeping and buzzing loud enough to where it filled the entire apartment with an array of Bastion beeping sounds.
Oh, sorry, Shen. I gotta take this. You can go ahead and take your shower without me.
Brad quickly threw himself to one end of the room to where he wasn't visible by Shenpai anymore, a sigh of both relief and disappointment overtaking him as he heard the shower begin to run. Looking at his phone, Brad pressed the green accept call button, the metallic voice of a telemarketer bot telling him to enter his credit card number in order to enter a sweepstake for a free car.
You want my fucking credit card number? Alright, my credit card number is 9534429. Where the fuck do I love this teasing woman?
And with that, Brad hung the phone up, slamming it on the table, or realizing his mistake.
Can I just say I love Shen?
Brad asked himself, the face once again turning bright red.
Thank God you didn't hear that.
Brad said, relieved knowing that there was no feasible way that Shen could have heard that with the shower running. But
Zylbrad.
did what he did best. He was wrong. Shen, currently washing her hair out, hummed a soft jingle to herself, giggling quietly as he kept reciting that line over and over in her head.
Did I just say I love Shen?
Yes, you did, Brad. Yes, you did, Shen said with a hint of sadistic giggle in her voice. Drying off and exiting the shower, Shenpai put on her sleepwear and left the bathroom, now heading for Brad. Shen's prey was sitting on his bed and watching TV to get a certain memory out of his head, unknown to him that he was being hunted. Looking towards her, Brad couldn't ignore the feeling that something was very, very wrong. And that's when Shen said the words that would forever change his life.
I heard that, Brady-chan.